So this video is very important. We're going to talk about what happens in the first 7 to 10 days when you take our anxiety-free tea, or what could possibly happen. For about 20% of people, they will go through what is called a healing crisis. And I want to explain that in this video. It's also called just simply a detox. You're going through a detox. And I want to explain that in this video to bring clarity to anyone that goes through this, because it's very important that you stick through this. And it's very important that you understand this completely so you can relax and just let it happen and find your way to the other side. Because a lot of times when people experience these things and I explain it to them, I get the impression that it sounds like I'm making it all up. So I want you to do your own research on this because it's such an important part of healing. So I have some research here that I pulled up just so you know that I'm not making everything up here. And you can, like I said, go and do your research. You can just Google healing crisis and a lot of things will come up. It says a healing crisis can have a variety of possible symptoms depending on the initial exposure to toxins. Symptoms can include muscle cramps or pain, arthritic flare-ups, diarrhea, extreme fatigue, restlessness, headache, insomnia, sinus congestion, fever, skin eruptions, rashes, and things like that, or strong emotions or mood swings. So your emotions, you can have up and down mood. You can just like feel, sad, one day. It's definitely a normal part of a healing crisis if you do go through that. So it's important to know all the different symptoms. These are just actually a small number. There's much more than this that they didn't list, but it's important to know that when you're going through this phase, a lot can happen. You can feel weird symptoms. And one of the most important things, it says here, one of the most important aspects of a healing crisis is the return of old symptoms. And that's very important to understand because basically whatever you were dealing with, when you start to heal from that, it's going to come back and get worse because you're kind of like doing a rewind process. So when I went up to Ohio, when I was healing my mother, she was dealing with ulcerative colitis, and that's where her pain was triggered, right in the gut, and it took her out for like 5 days. She was feeling terrible, to the point where she just really started to, feel like this wasn't working for her. And luckily I was there to be able to coach her through it. But after that, she started feeling better than she ever felt. And that was a healing crisis. And whenever you start to work on an ailment that you have, that reversal process can make it come back. And that's very important to understand. It says here, the more toxic the body is, the more drastic the detoxification and the more intense the reaction. So that's important as well to understand. Only about 20%, I don't know if I said this, but only about 20% of people even feel healing crisis symptoms. Everyone's going to detox when they take the anxiety-free tea because it has these herbs that detox the blood, like burdock, dandelion root, sarsaparilla, fennel, elderberry. All that detoxes the blood. It's going to pull all the toxins out of your body through the blood, and that's going to cause different symptoms to happen. Usually it happens in the first week. Sometimes it's a delayed process, and it might not happen until a little bit later when you're taking when you continue taking the tea, and then it might hit you in like the third week taking it. That's different for different people, but usually it only lasts about a week. So it's important just to reiterate, to just know and be aware and understand that this is what's going on, so you don't use that as a reason to run away and think that this is not working for you, when in fact this is a great sign that this is working for you. And this last part really wraps it up. However unpleasant the symptoms are, rather considered as positive manifestations of recovery. It is paramount that the patient endure through the process with faith in their recovery until they overcome them. Like I said, this only lasts about a week or so for most people. So it's worth sticking through it. I hope this video brings more clarity to anyone that has to go through any of those symptoms of resurfacing anxiety or cold and flu symptoms, headaches, or their stomach feels upset or whatever. Don't look at that as a bad reaction. Stick through it, because the difference between a bad side effect and a bad reaction and a healing crisis is that those bad reactions, that's going to continue. It's not going to stop. It's going to get worse, and you'll know the difference. Healing crisis, it ends in 5 to 10 days on average for most people. So stick it out. If you have any questions or if you need support, definitely reach out to us. But our main goal is for you to heal. So I hope this video brought some clarity around this subject.